What is up, you pickle pussies? You ready for spawn issue number 235? Let's go. Max tells Jim Downing that evil doesn't give a fuck, and it'll destroy anything in its path. Then Max explains that something drove Jim Downing to use his powers. What was it? Jim Downing admits that it was his symbiote that drove him to use his powers, and Max says, yeah, you're right, and it's creating everything that's around us right now. Jim Downing asks Max if he laughs, and Max is like, what the fuck you talking about, bitch? He doesn't say that, but he pretty much says no, and Jim Downing's like, yeah, exactly. I can tell there's no joy here, and I've felt that way since I came out of my coma. And then Max says, well, so do we. We all want freedom from this. We all need you to help us. Max then goes on to explain how Blood is the one going after Jim Downing's symbiote suit, and the symbiote suit itself is consuming Jim Downing right now. After that, he explains how before heaven and hell were all separate realms, there was one realm, and it was pretty much the Garden of Eden. It was utopic. It was a perfect place, right? Just with animals. But when God created man, and he created thought, then that's when sin started to arise. Men created sin because we couldn't be content just living like animals. And some men had darker hearts than others, and when they wanted their desires, they got it. And we see this man attacking this woman named Lilith, the first vampire, and he thinks that if he took her blood, he would take her powers and enslave her. But instead, he gave her his blood because he knew that his human body couldn't handle the powers of being a vampire. So Blood essentially took over Lilith's body, changed his form so that he could be a man and have more power, and then throughout all of history, with beings like, Genghis Khan, Jack the Ripper, people like that, if it wasn't Blood who was doing this stuff, it was one of his vampires. Now, Blood is pissed off because he doesn't have Lilith's soul. Lilith's soul is where Max is right now. But Jim Downing has to leave before his symbiote consumes him, and so he does, and now he is free from the symbiote for a short period of time. Back at the house of Detective Twitch Williams, he looks at a picture of him and Max. He notices a gun beside the picture frame and lifts it up, ready to use it on himself, but he doesn't. Then Twitch's son Peter enters the room, telling him that I couldn't sleep because it was too hot. His son goes into Twitch's arms, and his son asks him to tell a story about how good his brother Max was. And that, my friends, wraps up spawn issue number 235. Like the video if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, don't be a pussy. Like the video. See you guys in the next one. Bye.